So if you're like me and you're looking for your first welder, or looking to add another welder, or perhaps you want to add another piece of equipment like a plasma cutter, you may not want to spend a lot on it, and you may be looking at some of the import options that are available. However, you may also be overwhelmed by the sheer number of things that will show up on Amazon and smack you in the face when you type in welder. You're gonna see all these pictures and they're all yelling, pick me, and you don't know what to do. So in today's video, we're gonna go over some things you can look for when you're looking to purchase an import welder on Amazon or elsewhere, and some things to keep you from getting burned. All right, guys, welcome back to the garage. I don't know, did you like the intro? Did you not like it? I'm trying different things, trying to have some fun. Let me know. I also apologize for any dust on my shirt. That happened when I was trying to set this up for you guys, even though it still looks like complete shit. So the big names obviously have the manufacturer support and pretty solid warranties all around. But in your small workshop space, you may not be able to afford or justify spending that kind of money on some of these machines, especially if it's something you're not going to use that often. Because of the high cost of the big names, that makes an import welder a good choice for a small workshop or something you're going to use infrequently. So for the remainder of this video, we're going to hop over to a screen share. Over there, we'll cover how to look at reviews. And I know that sounds pretty basic, but there's a particular way I like to look at reviews that tends to help weed out some of the reviews you shouldn't pay attention to and weed out some of the machines that are truly bad. We'll look at some other places to buy import machines besides Amazon, and we will also look at some things to stay away from. And I'm not going to guarantee that there will not be a rant involved when we get to a certain point. What's that? There is a rant? Okay, I'll let them know. It turns out that there is definitely a rant. So if that's not for you, I apologize, but it probably will have some valuable information and insight within it. So with enough talking, let's go over to the desktop and we will check out some of these tips and tricks to buying an import machine for your shop. Here we are over at the desk, and I am glad for that because this microphone can keep the noise from the fan from showing up in this stream for the most part, and us husky guys get really hot. Over there with that microphone, I have to have the fan off and the garage door closed. Let me assassinate this fly really quick. So we're over at the computer here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and we'll take a look at some of the places you can buy an import machine that are not Amazon and why you would want to do that. Then we're also going to take a look at some of the things you should look for on Amazon, as well as another place that I probably would stay away from just because you're not really going to have any sort of protection after a certain amount of time. So the first let me switch it. If you guys seen my live streams, you know I'm bad at switching between the main camera and the screen share. I'll switch that now. So the first place, an obvious place to me to buy an import machine, is going to be Harbor Freight. The reason you would want to buy a welder from a place like Harbor Freight is because you're going to have a store to go back to, and you're still going to get a better price than a name brand, high-end machine. They've got an offering for just about every situation, every welder or plasma cutting situation you would want to have. They've even got their gas powered model if that's something that you needed. And you can also add on that 1 year or 2 year replacement plan. So if anything ever goes wrong with your machine, you can go back to them, bring the machine with you, and they're going to swap it out for a new one or an equivalent if the one you've purchased is discontinued. So that's a good way to go if you want to have, like, I would call that the safest option for buying an import welder. Going to a place like Harbor Freight, buying the machine and buying that protection plan, and then you're going to be covered for quite a while should anything go wrong. However, you are going to pay a bit of a premium for that convenience. You can get an equivalent or better, more featured welder if you buy just an import from a place like Amazon. But because Harbor Freight and some of these other places we're going to talk about have physical locations, customer service people, and that sort of thing,
you're going to pay a bit of a premium for that over just an import welder off of Amazon. Still not a bad choice, and you are still going to save a ton of money. Another place you can check out is Jegs. Now, Jegs, I feel like their welders are a little bit behind the curve when it comes to technology. You have to dig into each one of these machines and compare them. However, you're going to have the same sort of deal as Harbor Freight. You've got a store you can go back to. You've got a warranty that's offered by Jegs, and they're here in the US, and you can go back to them for any support or warranty needs, at least for some amount of time. Eastwood's going to be the same way. I mean, you can get prime welds and stuff for the same price as this, which prime weld I would consider a premium import. So the next thing we're going to do is switch over to Amazon. And when you type welder into Amazon, you're going to get hundreds of results. You have to have some way to narrow those hundreds of results down to something that you want to purchase that you think is going to be good quality and do what you need it to do. So we're going to go through some of that, and then I'm also going to go over a couple other different aspects that may seem insignificant at first glance. However, there is a reason for them, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So I've already typed welder in, and of course we've got tons of results here. Now this is going to go for any type of welder or plasma cutter, really generally anything on Amazon. We're going to apply it to welding here, because that's what we're talking about today. So we'll take this Tooliom in the bestseller list here. That's a 135 amp flux core MIG welder. And if you look up at the top here, we've got about 4.5 stars, 429 ratings, and it's saying it's the #1 bestseller. So we will click into here and see what these reviews look like. Now, 4.5 stars is a good place to be, and 429 reviews is not bad at all. A lot of these machines, you're only going to get a handful of reviews. I'd stay away from those. You want to see a couple. I like to see personally a couple hundred reviews, at least, if it's something from a brand I've never heard of. So if we click into these ratings, you're going to see 68% are 5-star. So for me, 5-star, I like to see around that 70% or better mark. This one's at 68. That's not horrible. And then we're going to take a look at, after you've looked at this and you got the good reviews. I mean, good reviews are good reviews, so the machine works as intended. Not really a point in looking at those unless you're looking for some kind of specific information. 4 stars, same thing. Might have been a feature or two that they didn't have that they wanted, but what we want to concern ourselves with are the 1 stars. What percentage that is. You want that definitely below 10, and obviously the lower the better. And if you click into it, it's going to give you only those 1-star reviews. And you can see what the issues were with these particular units. So like this guy is saying that it was used, he had to return it twice. Both times the top of the box had been retaped, the MIG gun had splatter on it, and one was missing a tip. So this isn't necessarily a problem with the machine, and this is why I like looking at the 1-star reviews. 1-star reviews are from people who are mad, because a 2 or 3-star and a 4-star review are going to be a little bit more critical and constructive. 1-star, somebody's mad, they're going to give you a sentence or two about what's wrong and be on their way. So this guy saying it was used, that's not necessarily on the manufacturer. I've had things come from Amazon that were either not the item they were supposed to be in that item's box, or you could tell had been taken out of the box and put back in, whether they were used or not. So that's not really an issue with the manufacturer and the product. That's an issue with Amazon. Amazon let a used or returned machine go back out into sale, so they didn't do their job when that return came in. This guy is saying that there's no way to adjust wire speed as it's connected to the voltage setting. So a lot of welders are actually like this. The voltage and wire feed are tied together. The Simder I've got's like this. The voltage and the wire speed are tied together in some fashion. They have a relationship between the two, so when you set it, it's just set for both. Then typically the other knob will fine-tune that voltage. That may or may not be the case with this machine. I'm not sure. I don't own this one. However, I'm willing to bet if one knob controls voltage and wire speed on the flux core setting, that the other knob is going to fine tune that voltage to allow you to dial it in a little bit better. So it gets it in the ballpark and then you can dial it in. This may or may not be operator error. So this guy got one that was pretty much DOA on dead on arrival, didn't work. This guy also said wire was coming out, there's no arc, everything was hooked up. So, I mean, this is one, I mean, the machine should work, it's new, but he also didn't try it right away. If he could have returned it and swapped it out for a new one, would he have been happy and left something other than a 1-star review? And then this is another one where it was a used one that the customer got. You got to kind of take these 1-star reviews. Like, a 1-star review is not the end of the world, because you don't know somebody's qualifications, somebody's knowledge, or the rest of the story unless you look into them. So that's how I like to look at reviews. I like to look at how many stars it's got. So 4 or better for me. If it's under 4, I'm probably not looking at it unless I've got prior experience with it. And if it's got 4 or more stars, then I go in and I look at how many 5-star reviews it has percentage wise. I like to see that around 70 or higher. And then I like to see the 1-star reviews and go through them and see if there are any that you can discard because of operator error, or for instance, the used machine in the box is not the fault of the manufacturer. That's an Amazon issue for not checking the return. So those I kind of discredit and throw out. And as you start to take those types of reviews out, you're going to find out that a lot of these machines are actually going to have pretty good reviews. A bulk of them are made up from either somebody trying to use them without knowing what they're doing, or an issue with Amazon and not the manufacturer. I saw one on Prime Day where the guy said it would not charge a battery. Well, we were looking at a welder, and a welder's not designed to charge a battery. So the review didn't mean anything when it came to using it as a welder. The next thing I like to look for is I like to look for a machine with a brand name. Somebody took the time to come up with a brand name and put it on it. That tells me that this is more than likely not some guy in a basement somewhere buying welders from AliExpress, having them shipped to a warehouse, and then having them fulfilled by Amazon. It's an actual company that took some time and effort to put into a name you can say, a name you can search for, and they care at least a little bit about their image on Amazon. Now, there are some out there that are literally, there's no name on them whatsoever. So you've got no one to talk to about it. You've got nothing to search for. And if it's the best machine ever, quite frankly, you can't tell anyone else about it. How are you going to tell your buddy that you bought the best plasma cutter ever and it's on Amazon, but you don't know what the name of it is because it doesn't have one? It's just the orange one. Find a machine you like that has a brand name. We're going to take a look at one here and go through a few things I look for when it comes to that branding. And I'm going to switch it back over to the browser here, since I've already recorded this 3 times and forgot to. And we're going to go for it. So we're going to take a look at this Simder. I have one, have a little bit of experience with them, so that's what we're going to use. So you go in here, you've got your roughly 4.5 stars, which is good. You got 246 ratings, 70%, only 6% 1-star. So we're doing good so far. It's got a name, Simder. It's right there. It's got even a model number, MiG 140. Got that on the front. Now, go into the store. You see this? There's a guy. They've got their own videos. They've got their own photos. They showcase their products in a nice way. And this looks like a company. It is a company. So now, if you purchase this product and something happens, you can look for this company. Simder's got their own website out there, and you can contact them very easily if you need to. So this is more than a guy in a basement buying stuff off of AliExpress. If your product listing gets taken down because they no longer sell it or it's no longer available, you still can go try and find the company and see if they can help you. So another thing that's a little bit personal to me, for whatever reason, it just really grinds my gears, is I also like to have a brand name that I can say. Like, I know how to say the name of the thing I'm buying. And there's a few companies out there that have gone through the trouble of putting a name on the outside of the machine, and I have no idea how to say it. I don't know the combination of letters and things on the side of the machines. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to say it. I can't even remember how to spell it because it's just off the wall. And I understand that these companies are overseas and English probably isn't their first or primary language. However, if you're going to take the time to put into building a brand on Amazon that primarily, especially on the US or UK Amazon sites, where English is the primary language, you're going to get most of your dollars more than likely from those places. Why you wouldn't take the time to have somebody make a name that people can say and pronounce and spell? Once again, if I bought your machine and it's the best machine I've ever used, I can't tell my friends. I can't tell someone on Facebook without having to go look at the sticker on the machine to see how to spell it. That's not good marketing. That's not good branding. And I don't know how big of an issue it really would be when it came to service, but it makes me think that they don't put the time into making a good image for themselves and having a nice brandable product. So my guess is that they're probably not too customer focused to begin with. And if you look through, you're going to see like Yes Welder. Most of you guys know Yes Welder. So far, I've had great luck with them. Import Welders. It's called Yes Welder, and it's a little goofy, but I can say it. It's Yes Welder. This is Lotus. I can say it. Simder. Gotcha. Deco or Deco. People know what you're talking about. No problem. Even Hynade. Little weird. Not a problem. But then you get something like this marvel. HZX Vogan, I guess is how I would say this. HZX Vogan. HZX Vogan. You can't, I mean, that's letters crammed together with maybe a word at the end, no space. I don't know what this is. This could be fine. Like, this could be a name or something overseas. I don't know. To me, that's not a brandable thing that I can use in a conversation. I don't even want to say it in a conversation because it's HZX Vogan. Like, it's too, it doesn't flow. It's too long. That being said, there may be nothing wrong with these machines. That's just a thing I've got like in my brain. They've even put together this page and it looks fine. It looks great. But I don't understand why they didn't brand it differently, where you could talk about it, search it easy, remember how to spell it, all that sort of thing. Another thing to keep in mind is that Amazon has started offering these protection programs on a lot of the products that are available. So if you're buying something that maybe doesn't have a lot of reviews or doesn't have any solid branding behind it that you can find elsewhere on the internet, you may want to spring for one of those protection plans. That's going to be dealt with through this other company that Amazon has a partnership with or owns or whatever it is. And it's very similar to the way Harbor Freight does it, although you don't have a store to go to just swap it out on the spot. You're more than likely going to have to send it back, or they're going to send you one and then you're going to have to send the defective one back. But if you're really worried about it, then you can go ahead and pay the 30 to 40 bucks, whatever it is. It changes based on the price of what you're buying. That can offer you a lot of peace of mind and protection in the event that you have an issue with what you buy through Amazon. In addition to that, you do have Amazon's 30-day return policy. And I think on the holidays, it goes up to like a 90-day. You get a longer return period during the holiday season so that people can return any gifts or anything like that. So take advantage of that. When you get your machine, even if you don't have a bunch of projects or anything to use it for right away, pull it out of the box, get it set up, run some welds with it, run some cuts with it, and do it often. Use it as much as you can on scrap metal or whatever it is you have laying around to try and get some time on that machine. Odds are, if you're going to have an issue with a machine, if you look at a lot of the reviews, it's like first or second time I tried to use it, this happened. You know, out of the box, this happened. So odds are, if you can get several hours on one of these machines and it's still good and it's still working, you're probably not going to have an issue with it down the road for quite a while. You can really get a solid machine on a reasonable budget and to really start to set your shop up how you want it and what's easy and most efficient for you. There's no reason to sit there and not buy one of these machines with everything that's available to you and everything we've talked about in this video. There are ways to protect yourself and make sure that you're not going to get burned. Now, one place that I would not buy a welder from is going to be eBay if it's a no-name import welder. Now, if you're buying like a Miller or something on eBay or Lincoln, that's a bit different because you can go back to them for warranty issues as long as it's a legit sale and that sort of thing. But these no-name welders on eBay, you've got to be super careful. So hopefully some of the tips in this video will be useful to you. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like the video. There's going to be more content coming. I'm just getting over COVID here, and this finally felt good enough to do an actual video. So I'm hoping to start a project video this afternoon and have that out within a week or so. I've got a lot of things I need to get to in order to move on to other projects. I have to complete a couple projects to get on to a bigger project that I want to do on this channel. Just we've been super busy with family stuff lately, and then I got COVID, so I haven't felt like doing a whole lot and been recovering from that. So hopefully from here on out, it'll be kind of smooth sailing and I'll be able to get some of this stuff done and some more interesting project content out for you guys. Live streams are going to be Sundays at about 6:30 Central Time. If you want to tune in for that, hit the notification bell. That'll notify you when I am live. And if you want to check out any other videos, take a look at this one or this one, and we will see you next time.